Hello everyone, I'm Joy. Welcome back. If you are new to the channel, please subscribe and hit the bell so that you'll be notified when I release these videos to help you to move along on your real estate journey. So today we have a guest with us, and she is actually going to tell everyone how to get started as a new investor. Hello, special guest.
Hi. Hello, everyone.
How are you? Welcome.
Thank you.
I'm very excited to have you here today because you are my first lady investor, which is very important. I have to represent for the ladies. So tell everyone your name to begin with.
Yes, my name is Denise Brathwaite, and I'm a Brooklynite.
All right, so you're a Brooklynite, and before we get started with the gems and the knowledge, just a little bit about you. How long have you been investing? Any specialties? What are you up to in real estate?
Well, I started investing in 2012, and my investment strategy is buy and hold.
Okay.
So I buy primarily multifamilies in the Pennsylvania area.
Okay.
And I'm learning to expand into single families, which I never did, but you know, you live and you grow and you change your strategy. I'm not changing it, I'm just adding to it.
You're adding to it, you're growing.
Yes.
And evolving. Perfect. All right, so let's just get into it. I'm a new investor. I'm really excited about, making the money and getting started. So what do I do? What's your advice to me to get started?
Well, I'm going to go over some of the key considerations. And if you see me looking down, it's because I have some notes that I want to make sure, because I get very excited. And then I start to, lose track, and I want to make sure I cover everything. So if you see me looking down, it's not that I'm not paying attention. I just want to make sure I get all the info out.
For us. Lots of good information for us. Okay.
So one of the things that we want to talk about first are roadblocks that keep you from investing. And the main roadblock is fear. That fear of getting started, that fear of taking the plunge. And a lot of that is because we don't have the correct support system. And when I say support system, there's a lot of gurus out there that's going to tell you how to make $1 million in 6 months and all that stuff.
And how to buy 10 houses in 10 days.
With no money down, mind you.
And terrible credit.
Yes. And that's not what I do. I'm not going to tell you that you're going to do all of that quickly. But a support system that will help you address whatever shortfalls you have and guide you is what most people are lacking. So that's kind of like what I do. And I will provide some information at the end if you want to get in touch with me to walk you through that process and just help you get started. And mainly just to support you and encourage you along the way.
Okay.
The other thing, one of the things that you want to consider when you want to be an investor is, are you ready to invest? It's one thing to want to be an investor, and it's another thing to be practically ready to invest.
Absolutely.
So some of the things that you want to make sure is, do you own your own home? And by no means these are things to stop you. These are just things that you need to develop. So checklist,
yeah, right.
Do you own your own home is one. Are you able to handle your current debt load? No sense in buying an apartment house or a rental property if you can't even pay the bills where you are.
Right. Because it may not always be rented out.
Exactly. You gotta be able.
Side, there's vacancies.
Let's see. What's the status of your credit? Credit is very important, so you need to have a good credit rating. How much money do you have saved in IRAs or mutual funds or whatever? Because as an investor, most loan companies want you to have 25% of your purchase in ready cash, sitting there for investing. And if you're saying no to these things, they are not deterrents. That just gives us a starting space. We know what we need to address in order to get you ready. So don't let that discourage you if your answer is don't got no money, don't let that discourage you.
There are answers for everything.
Yes, we all started somewhere. And I started as a single, newly divorced person on my own, and I wanted to make sure that I had some way of having income coming in. So as a single woman on my own, I had to figure out a way to make that happen. And no, I didn't have all my ducks in a row, but I had guidance and I was able to make it happen.
So you had your support system,
Yes.
you worked on the credit and making sure the
Absolutely.
income was together and all those things.
That's it. And you build, and you can, it can be done. Let's see. Why do you want to be an investor? What is your why? You got to have a strong desire and a strong reason for wanting to be an investor. What are you trying to accomplish? And I know the obvious is money. We know that.
Right.
But that's not enough, because chances are if you have a job, you're making some money.
making some money.
You wouldn't be looking to invest if you know, were busted. You know, that you wouldn't do that. But it has to be strong enough to carry you through the hard parts of investing.
Exactly. Like,
And-
do you want to help your family out? Do you want
Right.
to travel? Do you want to pay off debt? Do you want to,
Leave
do
something for your
whatever?
children.
Yeah.
You know,
create that legacy.
that legacy
Absolutely.
of wealth. Exactly.
So
So
after a while, money is just kind of like,
it comes
real
and it
estate
goes.
is hard, right? And real estate investing is not simple. So you have to have a bigger reason than I want money, because otherwise, a lot of people just give up and go back to working their regular job.
And a lot of people just walk away from their real estate investments. Now,
Yes.
by no means am I saying that you want to leave your job. The best way to do this is if you have a job. So that's kind of like why I did multifamilies, because I kind of like the idea that even if I don't have full occupancy, at least one tenant is paying the rent.
Absolutely.
So that I never had to come out of my pocket and my family's, allowances to cover that rental property.
Absolutely.
So that was my strategy initially, trying to safeguard as much as I could. Like I said, now I'm starting to venture into the single families.
Yeah.
But that's how I started.
So would you recommend people do it the other way around, single families and then multifamilies, or does it matter?
Single families don't really matter if you're going to do multiples.
Okay.
Because then you kind of cost average across your multiple properties.
Yeah.
I like multifamilies. I like 2 and 3 and 4 family buildings all under one roof that, will, like I said, even if you don't have full occupancy, you still have money coming in that can cover that mortgage and expenses.
Right.
In a single family house, if they stop paying the rent, you're out there. And that bank's not giving you no slack. You gotta be able
You
to
still
pay
gotta
that.
pay that mortgage.
Right.
Unless you were a cash buyer, then kudos to you. But if not, you still have a mortgage to pay.
Even if I have the cash, I still wouldn't put it all down on a house like that. I would still try to have my credit together and try and get a loan so that I could take that cash and maybe split it up and buy 2 properties.
Yes.
Or 3 properties. Why
Yes.
give it all and take the mortgage? Take the mortgage. It's a tax deduction. That's my favorite word. It's a tax deduction.
We love tax deductions.
It was so funny. The second house I bought, I paid $26,000 for in Pennsylvania. When the house is fully occupied, it brings in around $2,000 a month when it's fully occupied. You know how hard it was for me to find a mortgage for $26,000? And I could have paid it. And I was like, no, I'm not giving you my money. Give me the mortgage.
Did your due diligence.
I took a 10-year mortgage. The mortgage payments were like $150, something like that a month, $200, something like that. I'm almost finished paying for it. I've had it for 10 years, and I'm almost finished paying for it.
Okay. How long did it take you to find that mortgage?
Well, that's part of one of my last things is developing a power team
Okay.
of brokers and realtors and people who have connections.
You don't need to do everything on your own.
And that was a hard thing for me to learn too, because I tend to be kind of a lone ranger. Like just go out there and just do it. You don't
You're
need
like, I can do
nobody.
everything.
Yes. And it took me a while to learn, no, you shouldn't. Even if you could do everything, you shouldn't do everything.
Yeah.
You don't have the expertise that other people do, and the time that it would take you to figure all this out. Somebody already knows the answer.
The time.
Time
That's
is money.
Like a very, very valuable thing.
Yes.
So even if I can do all these things, if if I could pay someone else, hire someone else to do it, then my time is mine.
And that's what it becomes. And all of that is tax deductible. Those are business expenses. So go for it.
Yes. Get your deductions, y'all.
Yes, we need that. Okay, what else do we have? Deciding where to invest. How much money? For me, it was Pennsylvania. I live here in New York, but I can't afford stuff in New York. I don't even understand how landlords make money in New York. So while for me, Pennsylvania worked, because this is another question in terms of where to invest. How comfortable are you being a distance away from your property? If you're one of those people that feels like you need to go see your property every day, it's got to be down the block from you, let me tell you, that's not a good idea. Don't do that.
I think I've seen my property literally 3 times in a year.
Exactly. So decide where you want to invest, and that all depends on how much money you have. And what kinds of, are you handy, or do you want a turnkey property, or do you want something that is a fixer-upper, or you plan on going and doing the work yourself, or you have a good contractor or whatever. It's not a bad thing to buy a house that needs work in a good neighborhood.
Yeah.
You just have to
value.
Right.
Yeah.
You just have to run those numbers and make sure that what you're putting in, you're getting the house at the proper price. That's the key thing. Negotiating your price. The house that I got for $26,000 needed a new roof. The seller said, I don't have any more money. I can't buy a roof. I got a price. The roof was $6,000. He took it off the sale price, and that's what brought it down to $6,000. Yeah, it's all about your comfort level, and it's a little scary at first, because you got all this money out there, and you're not exactly sure what's going on.
Yeah.
But if you're prepared and you do the prep work and you have the team that you need in place, and you set up a system of regular communication with your team and so forth, you should be all right. And especially every month when those rent checks come in, you'll be just fine.
I love when that direct deposit comes in.
Yes. And the other thing is you have homeowners insurance. So anything that happens, it's covered. I saw one of my houses on fire on the news. I had a house in Binghamton. I just sold it this year. And
that's how you found out it was on fire?
Somebody called me and said, your house is on fire. I pulled up the news and I saw my house on fire.
Thank God for insurance.
I never even went up there. The insurance company went. They assessed it. They sent me a check for $6,000. I got the work done for $3,000. I took the rest of the money and bought another property. And
that's how you do it.
So that's what I mean by having your things together and having your things in order, because stuff is going to happen. It's going to.
Yeah. And you gotta be prepared. You gotta have your team together. You have your insurance together, and be mentally prepared as well.
And
it's not always gonna be cookies and cream.
Somebody lied to you. That's why I don't. There are a whole lot of gurus out there, and a whole lot of programs, and a whole lot of YouTube videos telling you how to invest and what to invest,
and how to make $10 million in 10 days and invest $10.
And I did the same thing. I spent $25,000 on a course one time. I spent another $30,000 on another course one time. All you need to do is my approach. Not that you need to do my approach, but my approach is simple. Find a property. How much rent can I get? How much should I offer? And put it down. There's nothing like just doing it. And that's the hard part. You can sit in
the first step that a lot of people don't take when they're new.
Yeah, this is what I try to do. I try to coach my people and encourage them and let's do the Reader's Digest version.
Yeah, you need things that are going to shorten your learning curve, because you could be all over the place listening to everybody.
And you never make
5 years later, you're still like a potential investor.
And I've learned that. I used to be staunch. No single families, only multifamilies, but I'm learning that, you have to really just diversify and look for the opportunity.
Yeah.
And the deal.
Exactly.
So,
pick your focus at first, and then as you become more experienced, you can open yourself up to other things.
That's it. And don't try and do everything at once.
It's tempting.
It is.
Because things look shiny, and like, I'm going to make all this money over year, and oh, this is exciting, and this is more fun, but like, just focus a little bit.
Yeah,
and
because you're getting over your head. You're getting over your head. You have to really make sure you're ready for what you're doing.
You have to educate yourself.
Yes.
For sure. Yeah.
Then the other thing is building an investment team, and we kind of talked about that. But you need a realtor, you need a property manager, an accountant, an attorney, home inspectors, maintenance. And what I found is by using realtors from the bigger companies, you know, the Century 21s, the Keller Williams, they already have these resources, or they have connections.
They have a big network.
Right.
People know their name, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So if you're dealing with them and you need a house inspector, they probably have 10 or 15 that they can recommend.
That's how I love to find team members. I love to ask someone, okay, who do you know, or who do you use, or what do you recommend, rather than I'm just scrambling out there looking on Yelp or whatever, and kind of hoping, I hope they're good, you know. Yeah. Referral to me is the best way.
Yeah,
for sure.
and the referral may turn out not to be what you want, but at least it got you started.
Yeah.
And then as you get more experience and you get to know your territories and stuff, you'll develop your own people. But my key thing is get started.
The moral of the story.
That's the bottom line.
Take the first step. So ask questions as you go.
That's it. Learn as you go.
And do your research.
Yep. And do it. Just do it. Do it afraid, but do it. You know, once you do the prep work and you check your numbers and so forth, and it works on paper, then go ahead and make that jump. You know.
Yeah, absolutely.
And whatever else comes up, we'll figure it out.
For sure. Now, do you have any recommendations for certain books or certain websites or certain gurus that are not scammers?
No, I'm not
specific
recommending.
thing?
The main thing I would say is join a RIA. Find a local RIA in your area. I can recommend RIA NYC because that's the one I belong to.
Me as well.
So and the funny thing with RIA NYC, you know, the president, I guess you'd call her, Teresa Martin. I tell this joke all the time. When I joined back in 2012, she was a real tyrant with this. She was like, you're here, if you don't do a deal in a year, you can't renew.
Uh-oh.
She was like,
I kind of like that though.
she was like, this is a real estate investment group.
And like she said, we're not a meetup.
Nope. Now, you didn't have to make a sale, but you had to make an offer. My first 3 years that I was a member, I bought a house every year. Because I took her at her word. I was like, she ain't gonna let me renew next year if I don't buy. She's gonna kick me out.
So we'll have to have her on next.
Yes.
We'll talk about that.
No, she was very forceful in that, and it helped me because it's like the kick in the butt you need to get started.
You need someone to hold you accountable sometimes.
That's
accountability partners, mentors, yeah, for sure.
And she provided the environment for you to get assistance. So if you had a question, you know, the RIA had attorneys, they had accountants, they had all these different resources to help you. So it wasn't that you were just getting thrown out there, which is the problem with those big gurus. Like I said, you sit in a room with a few hundred people and you're not recognized, you're not nurtured.
Yeah, it's just cookie cutter information, and that's not at all.
No, your situation, you know, the person sitting next to you might have a bankroll ready to go, and you're here trying to figure out how to buy dinner. Two different situations. Doesn't mean that you can't be an investor, but you need something tailored to you where you are. And then my next suggestion is to join a mastermind group. I belong to a mastermind group. Most business people belong to a mastermind group, which is a smaller group of people to do the hand holding and stuff that the bigger groups can't do.
It's more focused.
It's very focused. I'm starting a mastermind group that will do that same thing. You know, smaller groups of people, more personalized attention, and catering to your specific needs.
That sounds good.
So those two things together will get you going.
You know?
And that goes back to your why. Why do you want to do this? Because sometimes it's as simple as, I need to get on a serious savings plan, which means I need to stop going to Starbucks and make my coffee at home and other things we don't pay attention to what we do with our money and how we spend it. You have more resources than you think you have.
Yeah, sometimes we nickel and dime ourselves. If you write it down, you'll see how much you spend on things you don't really need.
Exactly,
Yeah.
and that would be one of the exercises that you would do to see where is that little extra money, where can I put money away? But if you don't have a strong why, a strong reason why you want to be an investor, you'll do it for a day or two, and then you'll be back to your same old habits.
Yeah.
So this is the personalized kind of coaching that you won't get from the bigger the bigger gurus. They're not going to do that.
Right.
They're just going to tell you, you need this, you figure it out.
Right, this is what you need, but I'm not going to tell you how to get it.
Right. And I'm
now
not
give me $10,000.
Exact 10. Oh, good. That would be good. But that's what they do. Don't say 10,000. It's 999,000. It's always
9,999 dollars and 99 cents.
There you go. They'll never ask for the 10,000. But nonetheless, that, this is just, hey, we've been there and this is what we've experienced. So, if we can save you that part and still get you to the end game, that's my goal, and I'm sure that's Joy's goal as well.
That's why I'm here.
Exactly.
That's why you should be here every week.
Exactly. What else do we need? Oh, the other thing is negotiating your price, which, I won't go into now, but I did tell you briefly. It's how much rent can you make, and what are your expenses, your mortgage, your taxes, your insurance, all of that stuff. And it's one figure minus the other. It's simple math. It's not that complicated to figure out. How much should I pay for this property?
And don't go over it
and
when you're negotiating and offering and counter offering.
And make sure you have some leeway. You always have to put some money aside for repairs, because the boiler's going to go out, or the roof might get a leak, or whatever. And the goal
Fires.
Yes, pay your insurance premiums. Get that little rent check every month from your tenant. Make sure you don't go out and just spend it all. Put some aside for repairs and stuff that's going to come up. And that's a mistake some people make.
Yeah.
And
like
then,
an actual percentage that you're setting aside, not just, this time I'm going to do 100. This time I feel like I'm going to do 5.
It used to be 18% of whatever you bought in. And, I could check. I haven't looked at it lately, but it used to be somewhere around that you wanted to make sure you put aside for savings, for repairs. So that
you're not coming out of your pocket.
Exactly. You didn't get into this for that purpose.
Yes, exactly.
That's just another bill. We're not trying to make bills.
An asset, not another liability.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's, we could talk more about that. And then the other thing is develop a method to track your expenses. Remember, everything related to that is tax deductible. That's an investment. Just like you're going to have to pay taxes on the income you get from the property, you need to offset those taxes with deductions. So you need a good system and a good accountant. Very important to have a good accountant. You need to be able to track those expenses. Trips you make to go see your properties. Your mortgage statement will show all of the taxes and insurance and all that you pay. All of that stuff is stuff that has to go to your accountant when you file your taxes, so they can figure out what you have to do. So, hey, it's the American way.
Write it off.
Write it off. That is like my favorite thing. I'm just like, can I write this off?
Right. We were at lunch and we talked about property, business lunch, write it off.
Yep. And like I told you, I also run a landscaping business. So create my LLC, my vehicles. I don't want anything in my name. I put everything under an LLC as much as I can.
I don't want to look like I own anything.
Exactly. But we can talk about all those nuances down the road. But that's not important for you to get started. But it is a benefit down the road
Things
that you
to look
can
forward to.
Exactly. And I think that's it. We talked about joining a RIA and joining a mastermind group, and you're welcome to join mine, or if you have another.
But I know you're talking to them, but I want to join it.
It's you know what the mastermind does? It surrounds you with like-minded people.
Yeah.
Because yesterday, the 13th, made 3 years since I left my corporate job.
Ah, congratulations.
I skate.
So So listen to what she says. She knows what she's talking about. It works.
And it was scary. It was scary
Yeah.
because I didn't have that check coming in every 2 weeks. But fear makes you do things.
Yeah.
And I was like, look, you have no plan B here. You better figure this out. Because I could have went and got, I'm a human resource manager by trade. I have a master's degree and all of that. And
so you know how to find a job.
I could have found a job. I didn't want to. I said at my age, I was 57 at the time. I was like, I want to, if I don't take this opportunity to do it for myself, I'm never going to do it.
Yeah.
I'll get another job, yes, and then I'll probably drop dead on somebody's job, you know.
Oh, no.
You know, that's a sad thing for me to see people who work and then they just die.
Yeah.
They never have the chance to
they
retire
don't have
and
the
enjoy.
chance to live and enjoy what they work so hard for.
That's sad.
Yeah.
And so 3 years later, everything's paid. Nothing's been cut off. Car notes are paid, and mortgages are paid. And at one point, I had 5 mortgages at one time. At one point.
Okay.
And everything got paid. My credit is still good. So it can be done. I mean, you can do this. And you don't have to have a whole lot of money to start. You just have to be smart with the money you have. Mm-hmm. And that's what we want to teach you, and that's what we want you to take away from this.
Absolutely.
So that's it for today. That's it for, that we can cover in this short period of time. There's much more, but that's all we can cover right now.
So today has been very educational. If someone wants to hear more from you, find out more about what you do, how do we reach you?
You can hit me up on Facebook. I am me. I'm not the biggest social media person, but I'm getting there. They're dragging me in.
Yes, it's a must.
It's a must. So hit me up on Facebook. I am me. Or you can email me at Denise at denisebrathwaite.com. My website's being developed now, so that will be a good added thing. But I do have more information I can share with you. I have a hot sheet of mistakes that you don't want to make, and I can share that with you. So again, look for me on Facebook or email me at Denise at denisebrathwaite.com.
Okay, and I will put all this information in the description section. If you guys have any further questions, definitely put a comment below. Reach out to me. I try to respond to everybody, and please come back next week to see the next video. Bye.
Bye.